What's going on, America? Before we get into this video, I want to let y'all know this is a pre-recorded live stream that we all can participate in and share our thoughts. So even though I'm not necessarily doing this live, but I am in the chat with y'all so we can all enjoy it. Now, I did this so y'all can see all of the video clips and things like that and be able to enjoy it, you know, not just from watching me, but also watching some of the clips. And I'm able to insert some special guests like Bob. Now let's get this party started, man. And you will see me inside the chat room. God bless.
Oh, yes, man. That's right, man. Bob, you're stereotypical. White nationalist Trump for the man. Now listen, word on the street is that they finally want to start themselves a white militia group. You heard it right. I can't wait, man, to sign up to be a part of this white nationalist group. That's right, man. I've been waiting for this all my life. I got my mullet. And I ain't talking about that juicy mullet either, okay? Talking about a real mullet, all right? Got my mullet. Definitely got to have my guns. Got to bring my guns, man. And I'm going to make sure I bring my big old beautiful Bible. And most of all, my Snow White Jesus. I can't wait to join the militia, man. Let's check it out. What in the heck? What them boys doing, man? That ain't no kind of militia I know about. Let me tell you, where the mullets, man? Where's all the... I don't see no Bible. I don't see no mullets. I don't see none of that stuff, man. That ain't no militia group I wouldn't be a part of. What in the horny toad was I just looking at, man? That ain't no white militia group. That ain't no hate group right there, man. Them dudes look like they on the way to school. Got all the khakis and stuff. Dang on it. Why you covering your face if you're a white nationalist, okay? You ain't supposed to cover your face, man. You want everybody to see how much you are a white nationalist. How proud he is, man. This little white of mine. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to let it shine. That ain't a white nationalist group I want to be part of. That's for sure, man.
Now, did y'all see that? That white nationalist group that was just marching? Yeah. Any real white nationalists might have a problem with their style. Maybe that's white nationalism 2.0. But I'm not buying it. And neither are some other people either. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, most likely if you're watching my video, you're aware that there was supposed to be a march filled with all of these systemically racist white nationalists that we ain't never heard of. Just fell out of the sky. All out of the sky, man. So apparently they was up in Washington and they marched. And I put out a video a couple of days ago asking, maybe they heard, maybe they got my message. I wanted to see some proof of some real white nationalism, perhaps some militia groups that's based solely on race. And things like that. And then up jumped the boogie. So I figure we better do a deep dive into this to see if these are real white nationalists that we need to be worried about. Oh, starting off with Joe Rogan's opinion.
Uniformed white nationalist group marches on Lincoln Memorial. CNN's all in. They're like, we're all in on this. Come on, show us.
Okay.
Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Where's the fat people?
I don't know.
How come they're all wearing the same clothes? Do that again. What the is this? Is that? Have you ever seen anything that looks more like feds?
Yeah.
Tell me that doesn't look like feds.
That looks like feds.
Right?
It's like the 101st Airborne.
Bro, look at this. These guys are all runners.
Yeah.
These guys look like they just got out of buds.
I mean,
Get
look,
the out of here.
they could be real.
Right. They could be real.
They could be real.
Maybe. Matt Taibbi, I'm an unreliable source, and I'm a comedian. But looking at that, I'm calling bull. Give me that again.
Too.
Give me that again.
Me too.
Well, this gets back to like the Oklahoma ivermectin story where
Right, where they're all wearing winter coats.
Yeah, like you know.
Look at this. The out of here. How do they all have like uniformed outfits on? They have the same color pants for the most part. Very little variation.
Yeah.
They have tan or brown pants.
Okay.
Dark blue shirts with a stupid flag on it. This got a drum. Back that up. Look at the drum. Are you Paul Revere? What the are you doing with that drum? He's walking around with a band drum.
It's
like
white
a high
power
school
drum
band.
line.
This is so stupid it hurts my feelings.
Now, guys, honestly, just from sight alone, I smelled bull crap. I smelled that doo-doo, that dung. The visual alone made me go, what? Who are these folks? How did they just fall out of the sky, out of nowhere? Because nothing about that group tells me that they're a part of some real white nationalist group. In fact, it looks just like they're all about to go to a parochial school. Completely covered, faces covered, head to toe. They ain't showing nothing. And they're observing social distancing. They're not wearing anything that reflects, except these funky flags that they somehow just came out with, and those little teeny shields that looks like potato chip shells, and all of that, and then the drum. It's overkill. What this seems like is that these folks are trying hard to look like white nationalists, or to look like what they think white nationalists would look like. So with that being said, these folks got the nerve to be marching out there, and it's only a few of them, I guess, 100 and something of them, maybe 2, I don't know. But as we get into this video, we're going to find out a lot of more details about this, and I want you for a second to put your patriot hat on. I want you to start thinking like a conservative would, okay? Because they're trying to link this group with, of course, you know who, all of us, the conservatives. And they don't care. They don't care if you're white, black, Latino, none of that. You're all thrown in with this group over here, these crazy nuts just jogging with their khakis on. So that's the goal, I think, is to hook us to them. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a real white nationalist militia group, but we're going to try to find out during this video. So let's get into it.
So the feds have a new fake militia group called Patriot Front. This is a laughably poor attempt at trying to trick conservatives into committing acts of terrorism. But it's also incredibly disturbing that they're doing this at all.
I would agree with Mr. Reagan. See, because what it looks like to me is that they had to make a militia group so that they could combat intellectual thinkers like myself who said, I don't see all this white nationalism y'all talking about. Well, oh, you haven't seen it yet? So then let's go ahead and produce some of it, okay? And it looks like they just shuffled them dudes right out. And this isn't like this is the first time that we had to question some of these uprisings, these little groups that pop up like this. We now have our antennas up. Could this perhaps be the feds or another organization that is trying to set up conservatives by mimicking what they think a conservative militia group would look like? Trying to draw folks in and bait them in and entrap them. Could it be that? And even if that doesn't happen, just the very appearance alone of these knuckleheads jogging out there in their khakis and stuff would fuel the whole flame of white nationalism and militia groups is on the rise, and this is the greatest threat to America. So even if these young men jogging around with their school uniforms on aren't really a militia, they're going to fulfill the purpose of the appearance of a militia. So all of the knuckleheads who don't know what conservatives are about, how we think, all of those folks who think that everybody's racist in the country, they're going to look at that and go, see, y'all said ain't no such thing as white. These dudes right here, those are not white nationalists. And I'm going to try to prove it throughout this video. So let's get into some clips. Since she just referenced Mr. Reagan, let's use one of his videos because he did some great commentary on this. So let's use one of his videos. And if you haven't checked out his video or his channel, check it out. It's Mr. Reagan. So here we go. Now, what is this? Oh, shoot. Look like they painting and stuff. Now, wait just a minute. Wait just a minute. First of all, guys, those young dudes out there look like they're fresh out of high school. They look like they would be Antifa. This doesn't look like real militia dudes. I saw some videos with some real militia dudes a while back. They were not built like Reach toothbrushes. They didn't have the teenage bodies, okay? They had grown men bodies. They dressed like grown men, and they weren't a militia that doesn't carry weapons and follow all the rules. So if they're ever caught, they would never be thrown into the slammer if someone found out they were really not a militia, but yet they're walking around threatening folks, maybe, perhaps, and carrying guns. See, it's funny how this militia group is following rules. They're very, very astute when it comes to the laws. No weapons, no nothing. But one thing about this concerns me is the youth of all of these dudes. Now, that looks like somebody from Antifa or, you know, somebody who definitely isn't a grown man spending their time going out and sticking that stuff on there. See, when you look at conservatives, we do things for a purpose. Why have this big militia as we go through all of this video clip and we are at the point where we feel that we need one? I mean, what is the militia going to do? These guys are just going around sticking up stuff for appearance. So these young men right here apparently are, I guess, doing the work of the white supremacists in the militia. Let's continue. Here's a video, y'all.
We will not stop and we want young people to disconnect and plunge into apathy when our homeland is destroyed, uneventual story of bureaucrats and
Now, first things first. That dude sound like he is talking out of a shoe. Somebody must have dropped him in a big old boot. And it sounded, I don't know what he's saying. That ain't no militia that Bob will want to join. Make your words clear. Enunciate. What is he talking about? And these clips right here, what are they doing walking around with these fake shields? Are they all a part of some medieval reenactment camp with these shields? What are they for? Let's continue watching and maybe it gets better. Because see, right now I'm looking for a reason, man. I'm looking for a reason to join that militia. Let's see.
we will guard against such a government.
What? Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. See, now, wait a minute. See, here we go, y'all. First things first, y'all. Patriots, grown men, let's just say it's a militia. They don't show up in no dang on U-Hauls, but you know who does? Antifa. They show up all the time in U-Hauls. It's funny how they get all of their riot equipment and stuff brought to them in U-Hauls. Plus, it probably wouldn't be smart if these folks weren't real militia, real white supremacists, but they were all fulfilling a purpose by acting that way. Probably would be smart not to show up in your own vehicle. So how about everybody meet in a remote location, jump in the back of the U-Haul, and then we go to do our white nationalism. So that alone makes me concerned. Why are y'all all jumping out of some darn U-Haul trucks? Militia dudes will probably show up in big old man trucks, Jeeps, you know, stuff like that. But these dudes jumping out of the back of some dang on U-Hauls, who's paying for that? Who's paying for it? Let's continue though, because this is the militia we're supposed to worry about. Here we go.
Behind you is our new pharmaceuticals! In slaughterhouse, where America's future is butchered or projects! Let no man who follows this tyranny call himself American! Will there be a marketing chip in some plutocratic project to be destroyed once the plot is over? We demand justice! Those who speak out find themselves instead under the provocation! There's an arrogant bugbear inside this building!
Okay, where do I start with this one? First of all, real patriots would never want to be associated with this. Does this look like a group? There's some hardcore conservatives would say, I want to be a part of that. Do you think any grown men would be following the leadership of that young snotty-nosed dude with the mullet hanging down on the bullhorn, can't even understand what he's saying? You think some grown men, they got responsibilities, jobs, are going to say, I'm going to spend some time working on this promotional video with you guys, going around town, spray painting stuff, putting up some pictures and stuff. All of these are young dudes. Now, my thought is young dudes probably wouldn't mind making a small little salary, and young dudes probably would not be a part of a militia. When you look at these dudes, where are you recruiting them guys from? What dudes in this age category would say, you know what? I want to be a part of a white nationalist group. Most likely they would go towards Antifa. They probably would not be like, you know where I want to spend all my time in my life and dedicate all my energy into at 19, 20, even up to maybe 28 years old with this militia group. So you're telling me the video I just watched was a group of white nationalists showing up in U-Hauls, all got the young teenage body, following this young man with a mullet hanging down and can't even speak into a microphone. I don't want to be a part of that. If the crap ever went down, me as a conservative, you think if I show up at a meeting and see these dudes right here, I would feel secure? I would be like, you're going to get us all killed, bruh. Where's the real men? You guys are going into battle. They don't even carry guns. And I wonder why. Wonder why they don't have one of these and stuff. Because, I mean, it's a right to carry them. But for some reason, they've opted not to ever carry guns. Don't sound too militia-ish to me. But maybe I'm wrong. So maybe Mr. Reagan could point out some things. Here we go.
I mean, why in the world would an apparently right-wing organization protest an anarchist book fair? And what the hell is an anarchist book fair anyway?
I don't know.
The book fair itself sounds fake.
That does sound
I mean, is
fake.
this just for anarchists who haven't yet heard of Amazon?
Maybe, Mr. Reagan, because that promotional video doesn't make sense. Do you think us as conservatives would take our time to go and protest at a anarchist bookstore? I mean, would that be worth your time? Do you really think that a conservative group like this, if it was a real militia, would even be out doing all this stuff? We don't even show up to protests or rallies unless there's something to protest about. Everything that we do must have a purpose and be productive. So going to protest at an anarchist book show or wherever makes no sense. Waste of time. Only liberals do stupid stuff like that. So, Mr. Reagan, you might have just pointed out our first clue that this ain't no real white supremacy militia group. But maybe I'm wrong, so he can help us as we go through the rest of this video.
Whoever it was, they really messed this up. This was terrible. Whoever they hired as the art director for this little project has never met a Republican in their life, much less a patriot, much less a militia member. Now, one thing that was strange is that it's unclear why these people were marching. There doesn't seem to be a clear reason, and yet they're all very clearly organized, and they seem like they're incredibly well funded. It looks as if they're just trying to make people think that there's a bunch of white supremacists marching in D.C. That seems to be the only reason that they're there. It's like a show, right? It's like theater.
I would have to agree with Mr. Reagan on this one, because if we went up there, if actual conservatives went somewhere, number one, we wouldn't come masked all up. We don't even feel like it's necessary to cover all of this up because we look at that as a form of a dictatorship trying to control folks. And we're not going to buy into that. Secondly, it would once again be with a purpose. Somebody would get up there and they would state why we're there. These folks just there to show everybody, look, there's a such thing as a militia group. A white militia group, a racist militia group. No talking, no nothing. Just go up there and, okay, guys, we're on in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's all march out there in a line. What a drum. The little drummer boy. What is all of that? All these little teeny shields, faces covered. Nobody's talking. It's almost like they don't want to leave any clue, no crumbs anywhere for somebody to go digging around and find out who they actually are. So I don't want nobody talking, and I don't want nobody giving away any clues, so cover up everything. Now, the reason that I say, yeah, you might be right on this, Mr. Reagan, is because if this was a real white supremacist militia group, the Democrats would be talking about this constantly. Not only the Democrats, but just like they always bring up the Proud Boys and all of that stuff. And they would be talking about these dudes as domestic terrorists, and Garland and the rest of them would be probably infiltrating this group, trying to find out who these folks are. Do you think the CNN, MSNBC, if this was a real group, you think they wouldn't do everything they could to identify these so-called white nationalists and dox them? But I highly doubt if any of them are going to go in secretly and try to figure out where these militia folks meet and identify them. And I wonder why they wouldn't do that. Because anybody else, they definitely would want to put out there as this dude right here is in that group. But know nothing about this group. Any investigators out there? Do we got to call James O'Keefe? So let's continue because maybe there's more evidence that I'm just, presumptuous about.
They're called patriots, Patriot Front. They must be patriots, right? No, look, conservatives are substance first. Style, not even, not second, not third, not at all. Okay, it's not even considered in any list of priorities. Style. Anyway, conservatives care about practical concerns. They don't care about aesthetics. They don't care if their t-shirts match.
Yes,
you know, this is 100% political theater, and that is a 100% leftist tactic.
Bingo! You know what? This is how conservatives think. We put it all together like this. That's why they can't fool us with this type of garbage right here. When they told us, hey guys, everybody's meeting again. We're going to run that back for January the 6th. Conservatives are like, no, No, we're not coming to that mess. We already know it's a setup. So it sounds to me like they said, you know what, we need to go put on a show. Right now, the American people aren't quite buying into all of this white supremacy. So we need some hardcore evidence. So how about y'all go up there, march without saying nothing, cover your whole bodies, and put on a little display.
And this is why nobody believes that this is a real conservative group,
Not
a
me.
patriot group, a nationalist group, whatever you want to call it, because they're clearly much more interested in aesthetics than substance. They don't seem to have any coherent message, but, you know, wearing uniforms and marching together and holding flags, well, they must be patriots.
Yeah, got to be white supremacists. This is a style of the Democrats. Nasty Pelosi, when they all kneeled in solidarity to George Kirby with their dashikis on.
You see how long it was to have that knee in his neck.
Joe Biden going into that black church, kneeling down. Kamala Chameleon up there with those kids. We're gonna see the moon with your own eyes. Everything they do is for political theater, for show. Bringing the bucketed chicken into their quote unquote impeachment hearings and all that crap. All of that stuff right there is political theater. That's not our style. Do you think if real hardcore conservatives went up there to march, we'd be worried about some khakis? We would have some type of military vest on just in case crap got real. Perhaps some helmets or something like that. And if we were covering up our body, it would be for a purpose. Meaning it would probably be dead cold. All right, guys, dress warm. But we won't be worried about, hey, Frank, we said khakis, you got jeans on. Nobody will be caring about that. These dudes are trying too hard. Let's continue.
Theater. Now, we've had some pretty obvious and some pretty sinister hoaxes pulled by the left in recent years. There was the Jussie Smollett race attack hoax, which is now back in the news. There was the Lincoln Project Tiki Torch white supremacist black guy hoax.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? Because they tried to pull that crap off and we sniffed through it. Now, this just goes to show you, though, how careless they are when they're trying to do this. How obvious it is, because it's not like they even take their time to think about what would a conservative do. They're trying to anticipate or think how a conservative would show up, how they would dress, what they would do when they get there. What the heck? If you really wanted to pull something like this off, why don't you just call a conservative that's willing to sell out? So you can ask them, if you was supposed to show up at this, what would you do? How would you dress? You sure wouldn't bring a black dude in your crew if you're trying to promote racism. Yeah, all these folks that support them is racist. That's the reason why it's hard to believe the narrative of the liberal media when it comes down to Trump supporters. When his poll numbers and his voting went up with blacks, Latinos, almost every category. But yet they saying this man was a white nationalist and all black people hated him. So, once again, they are not doing their homework. They're trying to play these little reindeer games like that, and we're sniffing it out. And not only did they pull that mess off with the Tiki Torch, but listen to this.
That backfired. There was the Gretchen Whitmer abduction hoax that was essentially planned and executed by the FBI themselves. And there was the January 6th insurrection hoax that was also an FBI operation.
It was?
And there's been more and more discussion about FBI, not just informants, but FBI participants. As an example, look at your monitor.
Okay, here we go.
See the guy on the far right?
With the big hat.
Wearing the neon orange cap? You see that? There are dozens of men who were wearing that neon orange cap.
Dozens?
And they were said to be with the Proud Boys.
What?
The problem is the Proud Boys put out the word, as she wrote, to dress in clothing that is indistinguishable from what other people would be dressed in. So these orange hats are weird. And then...
Don't mind me. Nothing to see here, y'all. All right. I'm over in section 5 over here. Yes. All right. Are you guys ready to let him in? Okay. Yes, absolutely. I'm inconspicuous. No. Nobody finds me suspicious at all. What? Yeah, I got the red bonnet on. Okay. Open the doors. Okay. Come on, guys. White power. They're standing out like a big fat sore thumb. Let's continue, though.
The vast majority of people who were wearing these orange caps had never been charged. We don't even know their names. Now, we know that the FBI was involved in the so-called Governor Whitmer
those dirty rats
kidnapping. in Michigan, the FBI was in fact leading the charge. They had 13 FBI agents, undercover agents involved in that.
Isn't that entrapment?
The idea first came out of the and so they ensnared all these people to get involved in this.
Wow.
And those cases are now proceeding, and the head FBI agent who was involved, the head FBI agent, has since been charged with domestic abuse.
Wow, he's a Confederate.
Another one?
He's a racist.
Yeah,
he's a white. Now, they were smart
nothing.
this time. This guy, who the Democrats obviously sent in,
Okay.
at least he wasn't a black guy. They made that mistake with the tiki torch stunt at the Youngkin rally. But they made a few mistakes.
Like what, Michael?
The Democrats who obviously sent this guy in made a few mistakes. First of all, the Confederate flag that is on the back of this jean jacket was obviously just purchased. It's brand new.
Not only is it brand new, Michael, but it's very, very teeny. This dude comes up with that iron-on little flag right there and the biggest cowboy hat that he could find. That looks like a rodeo clown hat. Like he went out and specially had that hat made. Make it big so nobody can tell who's wearing it. Like Pee Wee Herman when he came out with that huge hat. Did you get that hat at the carnival? Novelty hat. I mean, he don't stand out at all like a sore thumb. Here we go.
It doesn't have a smudge on it. There's no dirt, no lint, no wrinkle, no rip, no nothing. They probably ironed this thing on.
Kind of like Jesse Smollett's little noose that he, put around his neck. I wanted you to see it when you got... Yeah, we see it. Why you have that on still? I just want to make sure that thing crisp came just out of the package. They don't pay attention to the details, man. They think we're stupid.
About an hour before they sent the person into the rally. The jacket itself might be new as well. Now, ordinarily, when someone does a racism, there's the racism and then it trends on the internet. What happens? The person who is implicated in the racism gets doxxed, their identity is revealed, they're dragged, they have to block their Twitter accounts. And yet, for this photo,
just this one,
no one seems to have identified who this person is because this person is wearing a jean jacket.
That's crazy.
The only thing on the jean jacket is the Confederate flag, which was purchased about 3 hours prior, I think. Collar popped up, long hair, and a giant cowboy hat.
That is true, Mike. Why is that man coming out with that long hair? Hoping nobody recognize him. Why isn't those camera people circling around and getting a front shot on this dude to find out who in the heck is this white supremacist up in here? Why is that? Why when Gretchen Whitmore said at that rally it was a whole bunch of systemic racist people and militia folks and people that were skinheads, but showed no footage of that. Didn't show nobody with no swastikas, none of that stuff. Just take her word for it. So now all of a sudden, just like the guys we just saw marching, that no one wants to find out who they are. They just pop up out of nowhere, a little promotional video. I think it would be kind of easy if you were a reporter to find out where they are. I mean, shoot, they followed the jury bus. They found out where that jury bus was going, and I wonder how they did that. So you're telling me nobody could follow one of them U-Hauls back to their training camp or something, hide out in the bushes, take a couple snapshots so we can find out who these white nationalists are, right? No? Just like this guy gets a pass on that? Interesting, Michael. I think you might have a point that smart people would acknowledge, but not the dummies. Let's continue, though.
Covering up. So his identity is completely concealed. You can't look up who this person is. And then, if you look at it, there are thousands and thousands of people at this Youngkin rally.
That's a lot of people.
I don't see any Confederate flags. I don't see... this is Virginia, first of all, and it's Glenn Youngkin. It's a moderate Republican. So I don't even think if you are the sort to be interested in more racially minded, sort of hard-nosed politics, I don't think that you'd be showing up to the Glenn Youngkin rally.
Nah.
No one else has anything like that. There's just this one dude.
One dude. And that's not suspicious at all. None of that. See, once again, liberals are dumb. They can't meme. They can't stage, fake hate crimes and hoaxes like this because they just seem to not pay attention to how real people think and act. They approach everything through this lens, this imagination of how white nationalists would be and what they would say, how conservatives would be and what they would say. Jesse Smollett, out of all places, this guy picks Chicago to pull off a hate crime. Talking about some white supremacists jumped me and said, MAGA country. This guy right here shows up in Virginia. All those people, you know how quick you hear, And everybody would turn around like, what are you doing in here with that big Confederate flag on? This isn't that kind of party. We've been voting for Democrats forever. Obvious sore thumb standing out. But let's continue because it gets worse.
Right in front of all the reports. It's so transparent. It's so lame.
And all of this was, of course, after the Christopher Steele dossier, which is essentially a hoax.
That was a hoax.
And was also perpetrated, at least in part, by the FBI. Look at their weird uniforms. Khakis, the mass-printed shirts and hats, the commercially produced flags. I mean, this seems like a kind of an expensive operation.
It does.
This looks to me like a Hollywood production. Yeah. This is kind of what it looks like when you get a bunch of extras that come in and they go and they get their wardrobe from the wardrobe department. True. And then they go over to props and they get their props to the props department. This is kind of what that looks like.
You know, Reagan, you got a point. Because I'm going to tell you what, conservatives by nature are very economically conscious. If we're going to go out and buy stuff for the militia, it's probably going to be ammunition, survival stuff. What it's not going to be is potato chip shells being used as shields. What it's not going to be is a whole bunch of matching khakis. What it's not going to be is a drum. That's what it's not going to be. Who even decided as they were planning this garbage, all right, guys, we're not white nationalists enough. We want to make it more white nationalistically. Okay, so we need, what do they like? What do conservatives like? Oh, yeah, they love their country. And you know what? You remember George Washington? Yeah. Anybody play the drum? I do. Good. You're on the drum, okay? I'm going to buy you a drum so we can go out and put on a performance. So they got the little drummer boy, matching costumes, matching things. Did they pay for their own stuff? Who's financing this? Because if this was a real white supremacist group that's not promoted by somebody, all of those resources would be raggedy. You think these young dudes would have that type of money to fund that when it's only like 150 of these dudes or 200 or so? Somebody else bought that mess for them and sent them out there for show. So let's continue, though, because I think Mr. Reagan might be proving my theory to be true.
And that's not to say that they couldn't have been hired by the FBI specifically for
just like
this purpose.
Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and the rest of them.
That does seem somewhat unlikely. Okay. Look at the prop shields that they're holding. I mean, shields. Would the FBI have thought to give them those specifically? I mean, the little round shields are clear, and then you've got these bigger full body shields that are made of metal, and they're all like designed out. They look all professional.
All professional.
Like the flags. I mean, they're both produced like professionally produced. It's really bizarre.
It is. Why would they waste money on those shields? What are those shields even for? What are they representing? They don't even have a purpose except for visual. Hey guys, look at us. We got shields. We're marching. No guns. This is not the medieval times. What are they going to pull out next? A sword. Real white supremacists / conservatives or patriots. Because see, they want to lump us all together, and we're not. Patriots are not white nationalists. They want to conflate the issues. But my point is, either one would not waste money on those little teeny ugly shields. If anything, let's get things we can use just in case he gets physical. And that shield ain't stopping nothing. But somebody thought it was a good idea to send him out there with the shield. It'd be more impacting. It'll make dummies think, look at that, walking around with that shield. Where's their sword? Why aren't they on horses? I'm waiting for them to come out in full-blown Camelot suits, looking like knights. Talking about, yes, that's right, man. We're white nationalists and we're wearing a feather and everything in the whole metal suit.
I mean, to me, everything about this seems fake and like way off from reality.
Yes,
now, a lot of people on Twitter are referencing this photo from the Justice for January 6th rally, a rally that basically everybody predicted was going to be a big FBI false flag. And sure enough, boom, FBI everywhere. In fact, after this photo went viral, folks started referring to obvious undercover FBI agents as glowies because they're so obviously FBI that they might as well glow in the dark.
Exactly. I mean, these guys couldn't have got more obvious. All right, we're just your everyday white nationalist Trump supporter over here doing nothing. Yeah, got our coffee and our very, very tight shorts on. Everybody got their glasses on. We're looking mighty good, guys. We're looking like true white nationalists, white supremacists. Great job, Jim, on the research, I mean, shoot, you couldn't look more like white nationalists than this. Okay, what?
Oh, people are looking at us wondering why we're talking into our shirts? So am I making it obvious that I have a microphone in my... okay. So the glass is all... Are we giving it away? So let me understand. White supremacists don't wear tight khaki shorts? No? So wait a minute. Patriots aren't going to be up here with some come get me shorts on? No? We looking stupid? Darn it, Jim, you're fired.
These dudes standing out like sore thumbs. Obvious, but yet that's their perception of what they think conservatives are.
You know what? I want to draw special attention to their beige balaclavas. First, patriots don't wear face masks of any kind because we're not criminals.
Bingo.
Secondly, if a militia guy were going to wear a mask, it would probably be like a hunting mask or something like that.
Bingo.
And I don't even... Now, several people on Twitter actually pointed out that these guys are all fit young guys.
Probably like
not one of them has a beer belly.
No beer belly.
How many militia guys do you know who are that fit?
Yes, man. Now, you know what? Listen, man. Bob off here again. The white, systemically racist, stereotypical Trump supporter, man. Now, what in the heck am I looking at? These boys coming out there, man, they ain't got no beer with them, no Budweiser. They ain't got no slips. Out there just marching around like they in some type of circus or something, man. Making all of us real white nationals look mighty dumb. Okay? I can look dumb all on my own, man. I don't need you to come out there in your nice little school pants making us look dumber than we already look, man. And not to mention, they got all their teeth, man. Can't see their face. Why won't you let your whiteness shine? You know the song, y'all. This little white of mine. Come on, y'all. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
And where are like the Let's Go Brandon banners and the MAGA hats?
Yeah.
Now, most of Patriot Front's efforts seem really just to be trying to direct people to their website. So I went ahead and I went to their website. And if you go to their website, it's amazing. The content is not amazing. The content is super boring and laughably stupid.
Let's check it out.
But from a design perspective, this site is better than like 99% of websites that I see out there.
It does look good.
Super slick and it's super professional. It's got professional photography and the photos are heavily edited, so they all conform to this uniform branding. It looks like a lot of money went into this website, and it certainly was not developed by a white supremacist militia group. This looks like it was developed by a corporation, or maybe by a leftist nonprofit, or maybe even by a federal law enforcement agency that hired some top web developers, something like that, maybe. I don't know.
You got a good point there. Because that was mighty professional. Now, I'm wondering, if you wanted to put on a show, if you wanted to make people think that you were a legitimate organization, you probably would go over the top if you don't really know how conservatives think. Because that wouldn't be something we would put up for the simple fact you're inviting the FBI to get all into that, hack it, find out your emails, do all of that stuff. We probably would try some other form of coordinating and communicating, but who's the guy, the IT dude, that's like, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and put together the white nationalist website for you guys and make it look great. Who's that guy? Is he a part of their group? Or did they go to some other dude and say, hey, I want you to put us up a real nice fancy website and maintain it for us as well, because we got a nice budget. Do those dudes look like they got a budget to maintain a website like that, or even come up with the creativity and all of that for that website? No. But some folks with deep pockets who want to create the perception of this group being a white nationalist group do have that. Let's continue.
Let's have a look quickly at what Patriot Front is all about. Let's read what they've got written.
I want to hear this.
On their website.
Okay.
In fact, there was one section in particular that really caught my attention. They've written, America's goals will be sought with the united and enduring passion of the national collective. No placement of the private interest above that of the common good will stand unopposed.
What in the heck? What in the heck are these boys talking about, man? I don't know all of that googly guy. Okay, man, look, man, keep it nice and simple. We hate blacks, we hate Latinos, and we hate the Jews, and we hate the Hittites and the Jebusites and all of them, man. You coming up on big fancy words, man? White power. It's the only word y'all need to have on that there wiggity regular wrong thing when you got going there. Talking about some recruitment, man. That make me want to run the other direction. Okay? Plus, you're not white enough on that website. This little white of mine.
This is Marxist language. Okay, this is not patriotic language. National collectivism is a tenet of Marxism. It's the whole concept of Marxism. And then no placement of the private interest above that of the common good will stand unopposed. The right wing is all about private enterprise. We're about individual rights.
Yeah.
This is not language that will inspire the kind of people that they are supposedly targeting to join this group. Whoever created this group, they're morons. There's no way that anyone ever actually joined this group thinking that it was cool or interesting or anything like that. I mean, this stuff reads like what a leftist academic might think a right-wing extremist would say.
Which goes back to my point. See, when you are trying to portray someone or something that you aren't, if you're not really original or authentic, it leaks out. All you can do is act like what you perceive them to be like. I used an example the other day on my live show, whereas, you know, gay men who act like women always go way over the top when it comes down to how feminine they are. So to the point where you say, how many women are acting like that? I don't see women acting like that, but it is the perception that they have in their heads of how they think women act. And then it ends up looking like this.
You know, it hit me when I was on the set last week, how profound it is.
Now, how many women you see out there, how profound it is? Do you think women are sitting back? You know, it hit me the other day when I was on the set. That right there is, let me show you how feminine I am to prove to you that I'm gay or whatever. And I'm going, that's gayer than a real woman acts. I don't know. That's your ideal of what you think women act like and talk like. Unless you are some bougie actress. I mean, even them, you don't see them doing interviews like that. Look at this guy.
I would go out to gay bars and I would just see how masculinity was so prized. If you're telling me that I'm femme, like I was raised by beautiful, smart, intelligent, fierce women, like are you saying that that's a bad thing, that I'm like them?
Now right there, listen to this young man. First things first, you notice? Talking right up out of their nose. Since they don't have real testosterone, I mean, keeps you from talking in that high octave. So what is he doing? Talking out the nose. How many women you know you meet and they're like, you know what, when I first, that's like, if you talk like that and I meet you, we're not going to make it. I'm going to be like, you know, Steffi, you need something for that? Do you need some NyQuil? Huh? You can't be coming up to talk about, you know what? Why do they do that? Because in their mind, this is how a female talks, how I perceive women to be. But you can't really connect because you're not a woman. You're portraying a woman.
The way that femme people are looked down upon in the community is 100% a symptom of misogyny.
So in other words, it's our fault. So if a guy sees another guy acting like a woman, and that guy goes, but you're not a woman, but you are acting like one, and most women don't act like that, then it's our fault. I would even go so far as to say most women observing a gentleman like that and the other dude would probably say, no, we don't act like that. But here's another example. Look at this lady.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Jess. I am back and here to talk about one of the most important subjects that we have not hit yet, which I'm excited about. We're going to talk about masculine lesbians and how to flirt with them.
Now, off grid, this woman right here is doing everything she can to convince y'all that she's acting like a dude. First of all, she looks like she's in some type of Latino gang. Why are you coming out there with headbands and stuff? What up, though, you dude? I mean, this your girl. Guys, don't act like that. You are acting like something you're not. And guess what? You're standing out like a sore thumb. And listen to what she got to say.
Now, every person's different. That's why being yourself and being authentic is so attractive.
That's not attractive. See, once again, this is a conflict of interest. You are acting like your perception of what guys are and how they act. And you're saying, but I'm acting like myself. No, you're acting like a dude. That's not authentic. If you're going to be a lesbian, why can't you just be a woman? Just act like you normally act. You don't have to put on a flannel, a bandana, looking like some type of gangbanger. You don't have to talk out of your nostrils. You don't have to be sitting up there. I was thinking the other day, just be you. And when you're not you, it stands out just like these FBI agents, just like whoever this militia group is. That's not them. I know the difference, how patriots think, how they act, what they would be interested in, and what would draw them. And this militia group would not do that. So let's continue, though.
So this organization was supposedly created by this guy. His name is Thomas Rousseau.
13?
Now, I've read what little there has been written about this guy, and honestly, I actually don't believe any of it.
Me either.
He supposedly led another white nationalist group called Vanguard at Charlottesville, and they started his own organization, Patriot Front. And let me tell you how much of that story I believe is true.
Okay.
0.
Me too.
When our identity was being denied, Americans did not, celebrate. They didn't sit around with hot dogs and go on fishing boats and set off little fireworks in their backyard, right? That would be insulting. And I think today...
Man, what the heck this boy talking about? Making my eye go cross. Got the nerve to be out there with a mallet hanging down out the back of his head. Man, there ain't even no real mallet out here, man, speaking all that goofy stuff, making that look bad. Now, you think we talk like that, man? Coming out, big fancy work. Keep it simple, man. Just talk about things like hatred and white nationalism and white power and our big old Bibles and our Snow White Jesus. I don't want to hear the rest of this mess.
We need to come to a realization of what our holidays are actually about. Because in times of tranquility and prosperity, these holidays can be times of celebration for what you have. But we aren't in those times, so these days need to be calls to action. We not only seek to exchange the structures which guide modern social, philosophical, legal, and political conduct, but we seek to dig to the core beliefs, the foundation of why the government is legitimate, why it ought to be, and why it should be there at all. We recognize the need for organizing and the need for a structured society, but we don't go so far.
What the heck? What in the heck did what talking about? So far? Look, man, you fulfilling a stereotype, man. We don't talk like that. You think we sound like that? We don't sound that dumb. I mean, we might just be dumb, but we ain't that dumb. I don't know what the heck this was talking about, some stains and stuff. Making my white nationalism act up on the inside, man. You're bringing out all this hatred. Got the nerve of pulling off some stuck with a mullet in the back. This boy right here come from Hollywood or something like that. Keep it nice and simple, boy. Talk about white nationalism, white supremacy, white power, whiteness, Snow Whiteness, or white Jesus, and a white Bible, man. Keep it simple. Talking about that. This America, boy. We speak American, man.
As legitimizing conventional parties and conventional dynamics, which can only yield conventional results, which are by their very nature opposed to the revolutionary consciousness that we are making every effort to promote, to instill, to inspire, and to forge ourselves into physical blood and bone representatives of.
So how many of you patriots are ready to go out and follow this fool in the battle? That dude with the fake mullet up there taking an interview, and I'm looking at that and I'm going, that seems pretty Hollywoodish. Right-wing organization, white nationalists. You think he would have multiple camera angles set up? Nice cuts and transitions. Who's the camera crew? I mean, did they just luck up and recruit a white nationalist that got editing skills and recording skills and stuff like that? Who wrote the man's script? Because that's what it sounded like. He sounded like the dude from The Matrix. I don't know what that was. Exchange. Going way over the top with the emphasis on certain words and that fake, phony accent. Everything about this looks fake. Everything about it. The dude talking, how he's talking, what he's talking about, all looks fake.
Even his accent seems fake somehow.
Hot dogs.
I'm not sure what that accent is. He's supposed to be from Texas. I don't know, but it sounds like he's trying to sound country, rather than just speaking naturally. The group is fake. He's fake. It's all fake.
It is.
Now, on their Telegram page, Patriot Front posted this video of them training. They're training in the middle of the woods, all dressed up in their cute matching outfits, and they're all still wearing the balaclavas. Why? What? You guys are all alone. There's no one there to see you. Why are you wearing those? This is so absurd.
It is.
Oh, and do you guys want to see some really bad acting? Check this out.
After a while, I didn't know about Patriot Front, and then I discovered it, and 2 weeks later, I'm walking around the city and I see his stickers, and I'm like, man, I'm not alone. Like, there's other guys out here. Like, I have to do something. I gotta go meet these guys. Like, I gotta make some friends.
So stickering works, activism works.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
You are not alone. White nationalists here for you. Although you're far apart, you're always in my heart. 'Cause you are not alone.
Do you think that was real? I was walking down the street, sounded like an infomercial, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, is that a sticker with a couple words on it talking about white nationalism and stuff? And I said, that sticker speaks to my heart. Here I am wandering around as a hateful white nationalist all these years, wondering, is there something wrong with me? Is there so? And then I found my calling when I saw that sticker, and I said, there's others out there that's dumb. I'm going to go join the rest of the dummies. All 100 and something of them or so. You couldn't have written that more stupidly. All of that looks dumb. And the guy who's pretending to be, what is he, a reporter? Why is he the only one walking around with no mask doing the interviews and stuff? Why isn't he, if he is some type of reporter, not saying, all right, I'm in here with the white nationalist group and I got all this information and data and I want to make it big, so I'm going to report who these folks are, what they do. You're telling me they just let this dude walk right up in there and start recording them? No wonder they got all those masks on while they're training in the heat, completely G'd up. None of that makes sense, y'all. The training looks phony. The dude running the training looks phony, sitting in there with the biggest cowboy hat that he could find. That dude sitting in here like, I don't look cowboyish enough. We want all the folks that's watching this to think that we're the whitest white men and the most racist white men on the planet. Which one of those states that's always messing up the voting and stuff? Texas. Somebody go out there and give me a big old cowboy hat. Nothing speaks white nationalism like a big cowboy hat. Well, guess what? I got me one. And I ain't no white nationalist, y'all. I'm a patriot. And I got me a man cowboy hat too that shows that I love my country and has nothing to do with white nationalism. We are not associated with this group. It would be amazing to see them bend themselves up to try to twist it and contort the narrative and try to make us be connected to these idiots. Not one patriot out here would follow these snotty-nosed kids into battle. That would be like me as a grown man right now, going out there and saying, hey, Antifa, as dumb as you guys are, as dumb as you look, and as dumb as you act, I want to be a part of it. Now, who's the leader? What? Hey, how old are you, kid? You're what, 18 and a half? You just turned 18? Okay, where's the grown version? Is there a grown department of Antifa? No, just the kiddies? Well, you know what? Let me go find another organization. This is fake. It's obviously fake. And all the clips that I showed, I think reinforces that. And they think we're going to fall for it. But, I'm not shocked. Because based on all of the stuff that they've done in the past, nothing at this point shocks me. And when you have powerful organizations and powerful people hell-bent on destroying the country, and it's not enough real racism and evidence, you have to manufacture stuff. And this is why this all looks like a production, a show. And I'm here to expose it. Dang on it. Only person got the greatest show on the internet is me. And I hope y'all enjoy. Now, don't forget to hit that like button, share my videos and all that stuff. If you want to be a part of my $2 a month club, feel free. All you got to do is click on my PayPal link below this video. And every month, if you have it, drop $2 in there to offset how YouTube is playing me. Okay, you're not obligated, but if you can do it, that will really help me out. Other than that, share my videos, like my videos, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed and your notifications are set to all. We'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Maybe we'll have more information about these white nationalists we're supposed to believe that are real.